Hey everybody, I'm Jeff from Madison Musky Guide Service. I'm here at the Team Rhino shop. It's normally you see me out in the water in the videos, but lakes are froze, so I'm here at the shop. It's winter time. I'm going to go through some tips, a couple tips on crankbaits that are real important. The first one we'll talk about is adding a split ring to your crankbait. Use a number 7 split ring. Even on some of the smaller crankbaits, I'll still add a number 7. The range of motion in the bait just adds a lot more versus if you're just going to put a snap on the line tie and the lure. Any crankbait that I use, I'll immediately, as soon as I take it out of the package, I'll put a split ring on the front of it. It just increases the action. I don't use any snaps at all on my leaders. I use the 60-inch trolling leaders if I'm going to be trolling it, or 12-inch leaders for casting, but I don't use any snaps. I use all welded rings from the leaders that I get from Stealth Tackle. But even if you are using snaps, you're still going to get a lot more action out of putting the split ring onto the bait. This adds a lot more wobble, a lot more flash. You could take one and throw it and make a cast and make a pull or twitch it, and you'll see quite a bit of difference if you add a split ring to them. And again, that's a number 7 split ring that I add in the front of them. It'll increase action and put more fish in your boat. The second thing we're going to talk about is teeing the hooks. The reason why I do that is so that if it's just you don't tee the hooks, they rub on the bait. And the points, especially if you have sharp hooks, which you should, will end up digging and making big grooves in the side of your, this is a MX9 from Musky Train, which is made from cedar, but it's really important on your wood baits that they're not digging in the sides. I mean, then it ends up taking your finish off 1, 2, but it ends up making deep cuts in it, and then the wood absorbs the water, then they start running different. But even if you're using plastic baits such as the depth rate or whatever, you still want to do it. It'll prolong the life of your bait, not digging into the side. Because if you have a hollow molded plastic crankbait, the hooks will end up digging a hole into the side, and then that sinks, and then your crankbait won't have the right action anymore. So teeing your hooks is really important on crankbaits, whether you're using wood or plastic. Even if you're using a solid molded plastic bait, it'll help keep your finish on your bait a lot longer. Okay, we're going to go through how to tee your hooks. This is a good, it's like I said, it was winter time now, so this is a good project to get into now. The tools that I use for doing it is just a regular linesman pliers and just a regular long needle nose pliers. And the main important thing is you really want to line up the eye of your hook with the line tie eye so that they're parallel with each other. And then I'll take the long nose pliers and I'll grab that eye in line with the line tie and the bait. And then you want to take the top hook or the top treble that's facing towards the head of the bait and line that up directly in line. I can see that's totally in line with the other, with the eye on the actual hook. And then you take the other two, it's really easy with the lineman's pliers, and just bend it out so it's out a little bit. And then now it's teed, but the next thing you want to do with it is take the treble hook and bend it up a little bit. And then what that does is it keeps it so that now that even when the hook's rubbing on the lure, the tips, the sharp part of the bait are not touching the lure and not making scratches into your lure. That will help not only in hookups percentage wise, but it will prolong the life of your bait, and you get a lot more life out of your crankbaits and catch a lot more fish on them. But both those tips that I showed you, putting the split ring on the front of it adds the action to the bait, and teeing the hook will prolong the life of your bait and increases hookups when you're trolling, and that'll definitely help put a lot more fish in your boat.